Subscribe to the Story Portal for more jaw-dropping love revenge dramas. He was the man the world bowed to, but she only saw a clown. When Kingsley returned from the battlefield, scarred, silent, and hiding the truth, he expected nothing in return. But his childhood sweetheart, the girl he once loved with his entire soul, shattered his heart with 5 brutal words: "You're not enough for me." What she didn't know: he was the secret king of King's Court, the richest man on earth. And now, she'll know what it means to break a king. In this story of betrayal, power, and revenge, love isn't just a feeling. It's a war. People thought Kingsley was just another veteran. Quiet. Scarred. Poor. But what no one knew was that he owned everything. The townspeople watched him return in silence. No parades. No warm welcomes. Just a bus stop, a duffel bag, and a man with fire behind his eyes. Kingsley had once been the golden boy of Everdale. Top of his class. Kind-hearted. Dreamer. But he'd left everything behind to serve his country. And when he came back, he wasn't the same boy. He was a man forged in war. A man who had seen too much. And yet, the one thing he never expected was her. Elena. The girl who once waited for him. The girl who held his heart in both hands and promised to love him forever. But forever had an expiration date. She took one look at his worn boots, his weathered face, and laughed, said an old classmate. She didn't even let him speak. Elena had moved on. To someone richer. Flashier. Louder. And when Kingsley tried to say hello, just hello, she looked him dead in the eye and whispered, "You're not enough for me." She walked away, with her heels clicking like gunshots behind her, and left him standing there like nothing. But what she didn't know was that Kingsley never left his empire behind. He built it in silence. He was the CEO of King's Court, one of the most powerful and secretive business empires in the world. He had operated from the shadows, funding tech companies, media empires, even governments. He was the system. He didn't come back to be loved, one insider said. He came back to be feared. Now, he had a new mission. To make Elena regret every word. Not through violence. Not through cruelty. But by rising higher than anyone ever thought possible and making sure she watched every step of the way. Elena Reynolds had it all: beauty, charm, and the attention of every man in Everdale. But she wanted more. She wanted power. And she thought Kingsley didn't have it. When Kingsley walked back into town that day, Elena had barely glanced at him. She was on the arm of Carter Dale, the flashy heir to Dale Motors. Designer suit, expensive cologne, loud laugh. The type of man who didn't build his wealth, just inherited it. The type of man Elena thought could give her the life she deserved. But what no one knew was that Carter's money was borrowed and his empire was dying. She thought she was trading up, a local boutique owner recalled. But all she really did was downgrade her future. Elena hadn't heard Kingsley speak a word. Not when she insulted him. Not when she turned her back on him at that party. Not even when she walked out of his life like he was nothing. But Kingsley wasn't silent because he was weak. He was silent because he was watching. He didn't confront her. He didn't post revenge online. He built a plan. A masterpiece. Quiet. Calculated. Ruthless. By the following week, Dale Motors began to crumble. An anonymous investor had bought up their debts. Employees were being let go. Contracts canceled. And no one could trace it back to Kingsley. Meanwhile, rumors started to swirl, whispers of a mysterious billionaire moving into town, buying properties in cash, making private appointments with the mayor, and scouting for land. No one guessed it was him. Not the reporters. Not the city council. And definitely not Elena. The scariest man in the room, a banker said later, is the one who doesn't need to raise his voice. But Kingsley wasn't just here to make her suffer. He was here to reclaim his name. Reclaim his power. and remind the world who he was. He wasn't the boy she rejected. He was the king she underestimated. And the throne was his to take.